When I started my studies, I did my research on nuns education in the US, and then I wanted to do something uh, uh, in not only to write a thesis, but I would like to do something for the nuns. That's how it all evolved. And then, so when I was doing my research, I went to the villages and uh, visited the nunneries, and the nuns were really, living in a very difficult condition. So these are some of the pictures from the past. So what we had been working towards, we started working from the scratch, like providing them drinking water, basic sanitation, basic living conditions were very, as you can see, the young nuns were cooking in a small cell, cooking on their own. They're very young as 10 years old. So it was really heartbreaking, and that's how we started providing them improving them living conditions, and then then to move on to how to improve their education and leadership and so on. So I'll go through some of the pictures that from the past, and then where we have been so far educating them and trying to support them. Some of the pictures here, like they had to walk half a day to get from basic necessities to their nunneries, and so on. In the in the country, there are every district has a few nunneries, and before we started, it was like only 21, and then now it's increasing. Unlike other countries, the nuns are growing, and the nunneries are now increased to 31 nunneries in the country. So the some of our work is to give trainings and give workshops. We had been doing all these years, over the years, after we had been supporting them with basic necessities and improving their living conditions. And then we have been moving towards training them, providing them with life skills education, and some reproductive health and health trainings and health and hygiene. So really basic trainings they were lacking, and that we had been supporting. Like, when we talk about health and hygiene and reproductive health, so people would really think that why do nuns need reproductive health trainings and all this? But how we look at is that when they are trained, they could help the other women in the villages, because they live in the very rural communities, and then they can help the young women and the young girls and women in the rural communities. So we educate them in this so that they can reach out to the community. And child protection and child participation and disaster management. So all these trainings that we had been giving so far, after we have trained them in basic necessities. So these are some of the things that we had been working with them from scratch, and now moving on to, like, I would like to share with you some of the pictures that the activities that we have that I mentioned above. Here are some. They make their own menstrual pad, which is ecological, and so on. And some of the trainings of trainers. So the nuns are trained as trainers, so that in turn they can help the communities and train the communities. So in Bhutan, it's a very spiritual country, and when first thing when the people get sick, what they do is they go to instead of going to the hospitals, they go to the religious communities, religious body to seek help. So for that, if we train the nuns to educate in all these basic necessities, they can be an advisor and counselors to the local communities. So that's why we train them as trainers in basic health services such as first aid and so on, as you can see in the picture. And then the non-formal education is another thing that we train them as. Okay, these are some of the trainings that we give, is training of trainers. So they also, some in the capital city right now where I am at, we have created a training center where the nuns who are living here, we train them as trainers, and then they go to the rural nunneries and they train the other nuns and also what we do is, moving forward, we do conferences and study tours, fundraising walks, and ordinations for the nuns, because in the past the nuns were not ordained. The higher ordination was not given to the nuns. They were deprived of this, and now we have been providing this and reviving this, and it's been such honoring and achievement that we feel that we had been from scratch, that we have been moving towards this providing highest ordination for the nuns. Okay. Okay. So these are some of the things that we had been working with the nuns in Bhutan, and some of the pictures from the previous past conferences that I would like to share. And here in this, in one of the pictures there in the middle, you can see our Queen Mother. She's the patron, very active, actively supporting the nuns. And in one of the pictures in the middle, presenting the one of the nunneries from Dharamsala, the Dalai Lama's sister. So we bring together our foundation. What we do is, they bring nuns together from within the country as well as from different countries, and then we create a platform to share their haves and have-nots. So, and these are some of the pictures that we have been given. Dental services. One of the dentists, one of the very renowned dentists, came from Germany and we took him all over Bhutan in all the nunneries to give dental services. And okay, this is our, by the way, this is our training center. In Thimphu, that we have created for the nuns, and then the highest ordination. I'm sorry, I'll take one more minute. So the highest ordination was one of the Bhikkhuni ordination is one of the biggest achievements that we take pride in, and we have broken the glass ceilings for the women who are following the spiritual path in Himalayan region, at least. And this year we are having the second one. So this is the highest abbot of Bhutan, and with the Queen Mother together, this was made possible. So thank you so much. And I borrowed this word, a beautiful word said, "Together we light up the world." So thank you so much. We get so much support, and Buddhistdoor Global, thank you for your friendship. And so thank you. Sorry, I took longer time. Thank you.